Hello, welcome everyone to Informatica's video channel. My name is Jitendra and we are going to have a demo on how to configure DMAT. During this video presentation, we will discuss the following. Describe what is DMAT, why set up DMAT. We will review some sample data seen during match hotspots, demonstrate via video on configuring DMAT. So let's briefly talk about DMAT. DMAT stands for Dynamic Match Analysis Threshold. DMAT can be used when there is match hotspot and DMAT is set up within MDM Hub console. DMAT helps match process skip any large ranges which cause match engine to consume enormous amount of time. A typical large range, for example, can be 20 to 30 million, while other ranges during match analysis show up under 10 million. This is typically referred to as a hotspot issue during matching. Match hotspots are due to a combination of match rules and data, and we'll briefly go over a typical hotspot sample in the next slide coming up. So let us briefly review what is seen in the cleanse log when identifying a hotspot. Example below shows a typical hotspot where the same range is displayed for each minute for over an hour in the cleanse log. Ranges are printed every minute. In this particular example, we see the range was seen at 9:24 and the same range is also seen in the log at 10:34. The range in question is LVTO greater than ISS or $$ to LVTO greater than IZZ. The above sample shows that in over an hour, match stayed on the same range. However, the comparison has increased as displayed by an increasing number of comps per range. This is a typical hotspot issue. That's where we require DMAT. A hotspot can span over hours, providing an impression to end users that match process is hung. There are numerous reasons which may contribute to a hotspot, such as words like bank, fund, management, clinic, etc. All these words have to be within the data. DMAT value is set up within MDM Hub console. Once the value is set up for DMAT, match process will ignore any ranges that are higher than or equal to DMAT value. Remember, there is no fixed value that can be specified for DMAT. Let's now briefly view a demonstration video on how to set up dynamic match analysis threshold. So once the MDM console has been launched, connect to the database and then the ORS in question. Go to the schemas, choose the sample ORS, in this particular scenario we're going to consider party as a ORS which has got hotspot. Go into match word setup, properties, and we see dynamic match analysis threshold. In order for us to make a change, we're going to need write lock, we're going to acquire lock, make a change. Let's just set this to 30 million. This is the rule set evaluation window on which we'll just click on OK. It'll do the evaluation, it'll make the savings to the table, and once that is done, it'll bring the Informatica MDM Hub console, the pop-up window, which would basically ask us to reset the existing matching because we are changing something in the properties file. Typically, once we made a change to DMAT, we'll click on yes. And once it's going to reload the match table, i.e. the match table is going to be empty now, once we've made the dynamic match analysis threshold, then the next step would be to go into the batch viewer or batch group and run the match job again for that particular BO. So once the dynamic match analysis threshold is set up, you run a new match. Typically, prior to setting dynamic match analysis threshold, if you want to check the hotspots, you would see the following lines, which would show you the top 10 ranges in the cleanse log. In our example, we are seeing the explosion happening here, and we are seeing a high range or a hotspot in one of these ranges. Typically, by setting the value to 10 million, these two ranges would be avoided. So to summarize, we just viewed a video on how to set up or configure DMAT. DMAT is a threshold value that specifies the maximum acceptable number of comparisons during match process. DMAT is typically disabled with an MDM console, so the value is typically set to 0. DMAT is a good utility for troubleshooting MDM or match hotspots. Further reference for DMAT can be found in knowledge base articles 90740 and 145163. Admin Guide also has information about dynamic match analysis threshold under chapter configuring match properties for base objects. We value your feedback, so if you have any feedback, would love to hear from you. Please send it to supportvideos@informatica.com, or alternatively you can do it from https twitter.infra support. Thank you.